David Benavidez believes that undisputed unification with Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez will happen this year, September, and he believes that Canelo will stop Caleb Plant and he'll do it easier than the Billy Joe Saunders fight. Interesting. We're going to talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, y'all know what to do. If you like the content, daily updates, the latest and greatest in boxing, hit the subscribe button or the bell notification icon for post notifications so you know when I go live or drop heat on the channel. Also, make sure you click the link in the description to get TUBEBUDDY. TUBEBUDDY is an awesome browser extension to help you level up your YouTube content and be seen by increasing your discoverability by optimizing your videos. I start off on YouTube. I had 0 subscribers. We're over 200,000 and counting. TUBEBUDDY is an excellent way to get you seen, in turn getting you more money on the platform. I use it daily for all my uploads. So make sure you click the link and get TUBEBUDDY. Now, David Benavidez, link in the description. He has some thoughts on the possibility of Canelo, I was born, get the out of here, versus Caleb Plant. This is what he said. He says, I think it makes sense on both sides. Talking about and referring to, obviously, Canelo fighting Caleb Plant for undisputed. He says Caleb Plant is what, 29 years old, so he's probably in his prime now. He probably doesn't have any bigger opportunities than that. What else does he want? Fighting Canelo Alvarez is the biggest opportunity anybody ever gets, so I feel like it has to be made. I'm sure it's going to be made in September, and I think Canelo Alvarez beats him easier than he did Billy Joe Saunders. And I feel like he's going to stop Caleb Plant with the body shot, and I don't feel like Caleb Plant can take body shots too well. Canelo throws amazing body shots, right? He says, I think I got the height advantage. And this is when he was switching gears, talking about him versus Canelo. David Benavidez says, I think I got the height advantage, reach advantage, and overall power advantage. And that's why he feels he would have a different outcome versus Canelo. Benavidez continued, I've got great speed, great power, a great jab. So I feel Canelo hasn't fought nobody with the tools that I have. So I feel like it's going to be a way different fight if I get in there with Canelo. End quote. Now, in my opinion, you know, to each his own. I totally disagree with David Benavidez, and I don't know if it's a piece. See, this is the thing. I can't really speak, can't tell you this is exactly what it is, but I've seen it throughout boxing. A lot of boxing people, like fighters, trainers, and or boxing fans, they make picks and they use emotion in it. Like, I'm trying to tell you, my success rate for calling the fights and predicting outcomes and stuff is from being totally desensitized and emotionless to the actual outcome and not having an attachment and just really analyzing the stylistic matchup, the timing, the attributes, the traits, the patterns, you know, those types of things. So I can't say this is the case for David Benavidez, but I know he doesn't like Caleb Plant. The two have talked about fighting. There was an altercation in the gym where, you know, Team Benavidez, his brother and stuff, and Caleb Plant, it looked like they all started fighting and stuff like that. So I don't know if he's able to curb his, you know, hatred or whatever, rivalry with Caleb Plant enough to give a breakdown. You know, I'm not sure. That's something you would have to ask him. But I do know, just by and large in general, there are a lot of people who kind of factor in their personal disdain or what they like. See, I don't look at stuff like that. Like Kovalev, he's an example I use all the time. Sergey Kovalev, I think he's a POS as a person. I think he's a rude person. He shows and exhibits racist traits, things like that. But in his prime, when he was like a problem, I'm not gonna pick against him unless it was like an Andre Ward or somebody that I thought would really beat him, because I don't use my emotions in the pick. You see what I'm saying? Like, I never picked Jean Pascal to beat him in either fight because I didn't think Jean Pascal's style would be good versus Kovalev. He's tall, long arms, good light heavyweight. He killed a man before, so you know he has power, great jab, experience, you know what I'm saying? And this is before Andre Ward had broke him down and beaten him. so he still had that aura about him, the crusher. So that's just a little bit about me. But I disagree with David Benavidez. He says his words were basically that Canelo Alvarez will beat Caleb Plant easier than the Billy Joe Saunders fight. But my thing is this, I don't know how everybody else scored it. I gave Billy Joe Saunders like 1 round, maybe 2 rounds. I think it was round 5 that was his most distinct round. A lot of people said that Billy Joe Saunders was doing all this and that. I didn't see that. I thought Canelo dictated the pace. I thought Canelo landed the harder shots, the more authoritative shots, the more impactful shots. He landed clearly more power shots. I think he was ahead in all CompuBox categories that mean anything. Billy Joe Saunders fought kind of amateurish to me. Like he was like frantically trying to keep Canelo off him. He requested this big old ring, 22-foot ring or whatever, and he still couldn't keep Canelo off of him. He was moving some and like taking a lap, and then Canelo would just, slowly inch his way. So those were the little lulls. And then he would keep his hands somewhat active by throwing like meaningless jabs and really punches that did nothing to Canelo. Never once in the fight did I see Canelo hurt. So people were saying he's so slick and so crafty, and I didn't see that. I think he was in, it's kind of like a disguised survival mode. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say he looked like pure survival mode, like when someone definitely gets hurt, but he didn't really know what to do with Canelo, and he was just kind of biding his time. I didn't really see him doing this having this ultimate poise and, crazy slickness. When I think of slick, I don't think of Billy Joe Saunders. I'll say he has a little bit of slickness, but, I think the American style, the stereotypical American style, Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, those are guys that I think of when I think of slickness. And also Caleb Plant. When I think of slickness, I think Caleb Plant is slicker than Billy Joe Saunders. Listen, you guys, I picked the Canelo outcome almost verbatim to how it actually played out. I even picked the round. I said it stops in round 8 or 9, maybe 10. And that's what happened. So you could believe me, don't believe me, or whatever. I think a lot of people are disrespecting Caleb Plant. I don't think he's afraid. I don't think he fights enough like Billy Joe Saunders. Like a lot of people are making this comparison. Billy Joe Saunders, I think, has less power. I think he has less slickness. I think Caleb Plant has showed more heart. I think Caleb Plant has the better resume at 168. Who has Billy Joe Saunders beat at 168, which is what I said before the fight? Caleb Plant beat Jose Uzcategui after the Durrell knockout performance. So just off of that, even guys that were tough like Caleb Truex, that's better. Those 2 names are better than anyone Billy Joe Saunders fought at 168. If you disagree, go to your box rec, go to your Wikipedia, because I know some of y'all don't know ish about boxing. Go to those sites and then look at the 168 fights, not 160, where Billy Joe Saunders, if Canelo was fighting Billy Joe Saunders 3 years ago after the Lemieux performance or whatever at 160, maybe it'd be a little bit different. But I gave Billy Joe Saunders really no hope, and you guys seen why. He wasn't the most active guy. Canelo stayed sharp from fighting in December, February, and again in May. Billy Joe Saunders had no notable wins at 168. So I think David Benavidez and a lot of fans are just disrespecting Caleb Plant. Again, I think he is actually slick, very athletic. He can frustrate you a bit more. He hasn't quit in any of his fights. He hasn't showed even the propensity to have these erratic, like Caleb Plant, from what I've seen, he hasn't showed to be the person who's going to threaten to pull out the fight and quit and leave and go home and ask for a bigger ring and, all this different stuff. He's trained in popular gyms in Vegas, Mayweather gym. So I don't know. I don't think the fight will be easier. To me, the Canelo Billy Joe Saunders fight was easy. I gave Billy Joe Saunders like 1 round, maybe 2. So I think the Caleb Plant fight is harder than that. That's my personal opinion. But hopefully they make the fight in September so we can see. You can believe David Benavidez, what he said, that the fight will be easier, or you could believe what I'm saying. The other thing that, to me, why it doesn't make sense to say it'll be easier for Canelo and Caleb Plant is because I think Canelo struggles more with more of an American style, or like the Cuban style, Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara. you guys painted Billy Joe Saunders out to be this, but he wasn't like that. I think Caleb Plant is actually closer to like that slick American style than Billy Joe Saunders is. So I don't know. Hopefully they make the fight and we'll see. The other issue is this: Caleb Plant stays in shape. Billy Joe Saunders doesn't. Billy Joe Saunders is, once again, an erratic person, unpredictable, and he's fought even at a cruiserweight. After he failed the drug test, that's another thing. Caleb Plant has never failed a drug test, and Caleb Plant stays in shape. So I just think Caleb Plant is levels above him in terms of discipline. He don't drink, he don't smoke, he collect cars and kick it with his wife, stuff like that. You know, I know Caleb Plant, you know, and I'm not saying that because of that. I just think he's just more put together mentally. I would pick Billy Joe Saunders to mentally fold before I pick Caleb Plant to mentally fold. So hopefully they make the fight so we can see what's what. And David Benavidez said he don't think Canelo or Caleb Plant could take a body shot. I mean, I don't know what fight, you know, made him feel that way, but I think Caleb Plant is actually saucy. He has an American style. He is American. And I think that'll be a good fight and a difficult fight for Canelo. And I don't think it'll be easier than Billy Joe Saunders. So that's just my personal take. Make the fight undisputed this September so we can all find out if Ego is right. David Benavidez's prediction is more accurate. But I think a lot of people sleeping on Caleb Plant. You know, there's this notion, I've seen people say Caleb Plant is ducking, and you know, the other fight just ended a couple days ago. Just crazy. A lot of craziness in boxing. Let me know what you guys think. That's my truest thoughts. Drop yours in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, so I don't know. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TUBEBUDDY. I've used TUBEBUDDY for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TUBEBUDDY is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TUBEBUDDY and level up your channel faster. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.